Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Daily Action Picks. I'm Joe Delera, and I've got a couple of my best bets for Monday's NBA playoff slate. So let's break it down here. The first game that I'm going to be looking at is the Boston Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets. Look, the Celtics are trying to complete the sweep here. They've really won a bunch of games that were pretty close and in some sort of coin flip fashion. But look, they're up 3-0, and they're clearly showing that they're the better team in this series. And one of the things that I have an issue with for Brooklyn anyway is the style of offense they're playing right now. Kevin Durant has failed to hit his points prop in every single game this series, and the offense just doesn't look cohesive. It doesn't look right. And number one, the Celtics have the number one defense in the NBA, and that's a major factor. But the problem is the style of ball that Brooklyn wants to play is they're playing a lot of ISO, and they have the second worst assist percentage in the playoffs. Their assist percentage is just at around 52%, and that's just not enough. You're not going to be able to break down this Boston defense playing ISO and hero ball. It's just not going to happen. And considering the fact that they don't really have a true point guard, they're not getting that type of ball movement that you need. And with Drummond on the floor, you're not getting this, you can't stretch the floor in the same way, and you actually need to play a little bit more Nick Claxton. So now the Boston Celtics, they've got everybody's kind of clicking. You got Tatum back. You've got Horford, who's playing incredible. Jaylen Brown's playing great. And now you have Robert Williams back. So this defense has only got better, and that's going to make it even harder for Brooklyn to score. So I'm taking the Celtics at +1 and at +100 on the money line. I think you could take either here and back them to complete the sweep of Brooklyn and end their series today. For my next best bets, we're going to be looking at the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors kind of staved off elimination, staved off extinction, if you will, in Game 4, but they're still down 3-1, and they're going back to Philadelphia. So that means Matisse Thybulle is going to be able to play, but I'm really concerned about this Joel Embiid injury. They diagnosed him with a torn ligament in his hand, in his right thumb, that is going to require surgery. You have to deal with it. There's nothing that's going to heal it. There's nothing you can really do. It's just a pain management thing. But at the same time, I think that that's really going to impact the way that he not only scores the basketball, his tenacity on the glass, and how he's going to get rebounds, and how he's going to handle the basketball. So we know that he's struggled against double teams historically, but now, like, if he's going to have even more difficulty dribbling the ball, passing the ball, I love him to go over his turnover prop. It's set at 3.5. He's gone over it in 3 of the last 4 games against the Raptors. So he missed it in Game 1, but in Games 2, 3, and 4, he's averaging 5 turnovers a game. So I like this spot. I like Embiid to kind of make mistakes here as he's dealing with his injury, and I think that he's going to turn the ball over just a bit. And one of the things here is there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this game. You know, Fred VanVleet missed the back half of the last game with a hip injury. But one of the things that was interesting was the Raptors kind of got better. And it's not really anything that's wrong with Fred VanVleet per se. It's just that he's not the best fit for this series. He doesn't really have length. He's not the best defender. And when you're dealing with James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and even Tobias Harris, attacking from the perimeter, that's problematic. When Fred VanVleet was out, we actually saw the Raptors run a lot more lineups with, Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam really manning the point. And what that did was they're playing a longer lineup. You're seeing more Precious Achiuwa, you're seeing a little bit more Khem Birch, and that lineup can really switch everything. And that's a new look that the Sixers weren't necessarily used to, and it's also a different angle for them. Like they were so bad with VanVleet on the floor, at least defensively, that this is a different pivot. And if anybody can really navigate that, it's Nick Nurse. And we know Doc Rivers is not like the best with adjustments here. So I think being able to switch everything, providing this length, providing this athleticism, that's a great spot for the Raptors. So this line, it currently sits at 7.5. But I think that if Fred VanVleet's ruled out, we're going to actually see the line climb. I mean, he's an all-star. He's an all-NBA player. He's a great player. But I think this line might climb a little bit. So I would wait. I think you could wager it at the 7.5, but I would save a little bit because if he's ruled out, I think that this line is going to go up to maybe an 8, 8.5, maybe even a 9. And that's a line that I 100% want to have because I think that they do have enough with Scotty Barnes and Siakam. When those two have been on the floor, they're scoring 128 points per 100 possessions. If you remove Fred VanVleet, they're dropped to 124, but they're only allowing 111. So that's a pretty significant advantage there. Those lineups are good and they work. So I like the Raptors to cover the spread in this game. And I don't know if they're gonna actually pull off the victory, but I think that this spread is just too many points against the Sixers team that has too many questions surrounding their best player and his injury. So those are my best bets for today's NBA slate. Let me know in the comments if you're riding, if you're following. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in the Action app at Joe Delara, and tune in every day for more free daily action picks.